Throughout the early 4th century BC, the Greek city-states had been in a constant state of on and off conflict. They had established an uneasy peace, but as Sparta called for the Boeotian confederacy led by Thebes to be abolished, war seemed once again on the horizon. Thebes quite naturally rejected the Spartan demands. This was expected by the Spartans, as they had already mobilized their army and taken a position on the western border of Boeotia before the Thebans gave their answer. Sparta and its allies were led by King Cleombrotus. The army consisted of 4 divisions numbering 2,048 men, of which 700 were full Spartan citizen hoplite. Added to these were some 9,000 men provided by Sparta's allies. Of this 11,000 total, 1,000 were cavalry. It might also be noted that after more than a decade of fighting, the Spartans' allies probably lacked enthusiasm for further conflict. Thebes had at its disposal some 7,000 hoplites, which included the 300 members of the elite sacred band. The Thebans also had 600 cavalry, who were probably the best in Greece at that time. In addition, there was a small force of light infantry who were armed with javelins and supported the cavalry. The entire force was led by the brilliant General Epaminondas. The austere military commander, a student of Pythagorean theory, would prove to be the most innovative and successful commander Thebes had ever had, and one of Greece's finest ever generals. Some of the Theban commanders at first thought it prudent to retreat behind the walls of Thebes and invite a siege rather than face the fearsome Spartans on the open battlefield. However, Epaminondas persuaded them otherwise, always able to use propaganda and imagery to boost morale. Epaminondas recalled the notorious rape of 2 local virgins by 2 Spartans at Leuctra. The 2 victims had committed suicide in shame, and a monument in their memory had been set up. Epaminondas made sure suitable homage was paid to this monument before the battle. Another symbolic gesture he was credited with was the brandishing of a snake, and his statement that by striking the head of the snake, the whole snake would die. This was much like that of the Spartan army and the Spartan dominance of Greece. The first real action of the battle was when the Spartans attacked the Theban non-combatants who were retreating back to Thebes.
Riders, forward!
However, in the attack, Hieron, the Spartan leader, was killed and the Thebans were forced to rejoin the main force. There followed a cavalry engagement, in which the Thebans drove their enemies off the field. Initially, the Spartan infantry were sent into disarray when their retreating cavalry hopelessly disrupted Cleombrotus' attempt to outflank the Theban left column. At this point, the Theban left hit the Spartan right with the sacred band of Thebes, led by Peloponnesian at its head. The decisive engagement was then fought out between the Theban and Spartan infantry. The normal practice of the Spartans was to establish their heavily armed infantry in a solid mass, or phalanx. The infantry would advance together so that the attack flowed unbroken against their enemy. In order to combat the phalanx's famous right-hand drift, Greek commanders traditionally placed their most experienced, highly regarded, and generally deadliest troops on the right wing, as this was the place of honor. In a major break with tradition, Epaminondas massed his cavalry and a 50-deep column of Theban infantry on his left wing, and sent forward this body against the Spartan right. The infantry engaged, and the Thebans smashed the Spartan right wing. The Spartans' thin formation on their right wing could not sustain the heavy impact of their opponent's 50-deep column. The Spartan right was hurled back with a loss of about 1,000 men, of whom 400 were some of Sparta's most experienced soldiers, including King Cleombrotus. Seeing their right wing beaten, the rest of the Peloponnesians, who were essentially unwilling participants, retired and left the enemy in possession of the field. The arrival of a Thessalian army under Jason of Pheræ persuaded a relieving Spartan force under Archidamus not to lead his men into battle. The Thebans were persuaded not to continue the attack on the surviving Spartans. A decade later, Epaminondas would liberate much Spartan territory, once again defeating a larger Spartan army at Mantinea, ensuring the eclipse of Sparta as a powerful city-state. Even though Thebes managed to briefly maintain its dominance over Greece, the Theban hegemony would be short-lived. Soon a new power would rise in the north and take Greece and the whole known world by storm.